Hi, guys, and welcome back to Gemini Exchange in 2026. This is our sixth episode talking about our 2026 ins and outs.
We are back after a long but
Hiatus.
hiatus, yes. Life was lifing, and we had to divert our attention to material matters. However, we are back and ready and excited to discuss our ins and outs for 2026.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say I'm really excited because I haven't had like this creative, um, what's it called? Collaboration in such a long time, and I was itching to kind of like get back into this and have like also another other form of creative outlet.
I definitely feel that. I'm like excited. I feel like I don't know, like last year I was just really like trying to just make it through. And like this year I'm just like so excited. I feel ready to tackle everything that comes my way, especially creatively. That's actually
Mhm.
gonna be something I discuss in our ins and outs.
Yes.
But let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're gonna start off with our outs. So Desi, you can kick it off about what
You,
out.
oh, you want me to? Okay, let me pull this
Yes.
up really quick. Okay.
The little face.
So
You look like
I'm not,
Jennifer Coolidge when you do that. The little face
hmm,
that you make. Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot more than five ins and outs, but to kind of like put it all together. So starting with our 2026 outs, right?
hmm
Self-abandonment,
hmm
pushing through overload, doom scrolling, staying in places, whether it's jobs, relationships, etc., that you intuitively know that you've outgrown, and imposter syndrome.
That's so imposter syndrome was one of mine.
Really?
Yeah, imposter
Oh,
syndrome was one of my thoughts.
can we unpack that later too?
We can unpack it right now. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
let's go into it. So definitely imposter syndrome. I feel like last year, okay, let me hit it with an example. So for example, I was doing my yoga teacher training and I literally just completely gave up at the end. And I had already passed the test. I finished the course. The only thing that I was like left was like turning in my yoga sequences. And then I just got in my head because I'm just like, what if these are like too crazy? Like, what if nobody likes this? And I'm like, am I even like a yoga teacher? Like, I'm not even practicing that much. And I just like completely gave up because I was like, I feel like I'm not yoga enough to do this. So then now this year, I'm like, I'm going to freaking get that done and get it out the way. And yeah, I just feel like it's imposter syndrome has prevented me from really going after my passions because I'm afraid of being perceived as like a poser. I think another good example is like I've been taking pole a lot more seriously. I've been doing classes like 4 times a week and really dedicating time, space to that creative outlet. But at the beginning, I was feeling so like, oh my God, I don't have the body like these polars on Instagram. Like, I don't even look like that. My movement doesn't look like that. And then just being allowed to okay, like let me be in progress and not like just a perfect professional. Like you have to like get there over time. But yeah, I think that's funny that we both have imposter syndrome as an out. That's a collective energy.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome has left the building. We're no longer allowing room for that.
We also really going back to the poll topic because I know you said you wanted to do a poll off like when you got here. But I would like to say like I showed Nikki the video. For those of you who don't know, Nikki is my roommate. She is an instructor for pole. Um but she said, "Oh, her moves are very clean. Like she does so well." And I said, "Is it?" And I whenever I see like posts on your story for it, I'm like, "Okay, Joe." And every single day I'm like spinning around on the pole down in the living room downstairs too.
Honestly, I'm like surprised that you can lift yourself up because that takes a lot of strength. Like the fact that you were just like raw dogging it and being like no grip on your hands, just pulling yourself out of the pole is pretty impressive.
Don't get me wrong, they slip sometimes when
Yeah.
they start to get a little clammy.
Yeah. Yeah, you have sweaty hands. Yeah.
They
But
do.
okay, so imposter syndrome, that's an out. I know
Mhm.
you read off feel like all of yours, but I do want to unpack some of what you said. I know that one of the things you said was doom scrolling. I definitely have
Mhm.
an out as like unlimited screen time. And like one of my notes beneath that was like you have to read or do something off screen as much as you are on screen. So if it's like I'm
Right.
going to spend 2 hours like on my phone or like watching TV, I have to go take a walk outside for 2 hours. I have to read a book
Mhm.
for 2 hours. There has to be a balance. I definitely noticed that I am so much more like obviously this makes sense. Like I'm so much more present and I have so much more energy to do what I want to do, like reading and like doing a workout or something when I'm not just like on my freaking phone.
Right.
That's like something that it's like, I think I'm trying to have a healthy balance because I think in the past, I was very much like anti screen time. I'm going to delete all my social media anytime I feel myself getting sucked in. And I don't think that's like the energy anymore. I want to be more playful with it in the way that I interact with social media, especially. So just having more of a balance of being like, having a discipline around it. Like, okay, if I'm going to be on my phone for an hour, I literally need to go outside. I can go take a walk. I can meditate. I can literally like just do anything else that doesn't involve a screen for an hour and just having that balance.
Right. And I think what you were talking about, the balance is so important. And I don't know if you've been feeling this way too, but for the last month of December, things were really just starting to kind of hit me. Like everything prior to that, the creative energy, all those juices were flowing. And then December of 2025 was just that burnout period. And I'm like, okay, things are collapsing around me right now. What can I do with the information that's being presented to me? And how can I navigate this in a way where I'm not then in this burnout or this dissociative state?
Mhm.
So, and that's what I really realized about the doom scrolling was that my body was so overwhelmed that I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to like avoid my feelings and do things like that, even though logically I know that's not what I want to do.
Mhm.
It was just too overwhelming with everything that was going on
Mhm.
around me. And
I would
so,
say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, that's okay. But though now, like in January, I've just been really like, okay, those that like served me for that month, but let
Mhm.
me get back on track and hold space for myself, but really focus on these like routines and rituals, which we'll get into like with the 2026 ends type of thing. But technically, also the new year doesn't even start until what, the 17th of February for
Are you
like the year of the horse, and
up
then
about like
the
Chinese?
right year of
Zodiac?
the snake. Yeah. So
Mhm.
really shedding old layers and
Mhm.
things like that that have been like coming up to the surface.
And I
But
think it's also important to remember like this is winter, like December, January, we're still in this season of what, like of no growth. Like this is the seed of like this is the seed. This is the time of like the seed growing roots. You're not going to see any type of like growth on top. Like it's everything growing into the soil. And that was something I was trying to keep in mind because I also similarly experienced just kind of like a burnout. I think I was just like so over like I love writing, but I just got so overwhelmed with like finals, especially having to work on like my short story, especially that took me so freaking long. Um, and like after that, I just like did not write. I didn't journal. I didn't write. I didn't do
yeah.
like anything because I was just like, I need to just like be a vegetable, and like that's it. And I think that there was also a point where I'm just like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. But
Mhm.
like overall just like I need to rest and I literally like because I was off of work for 2 weeks for winter break and it was just like so nice having no school no work and I literally was just able to like stay at home and be a vegetable which I really needed I think that period of just like utter surrender so that I can kind of
Mhm.
like kick my year off strong um and like, yeah, like I don't think that it has to be like overanalyzed in this way of like, oh, what do I need to do? What I need to fix or something. I think that December was a period of like, there's all this like raw data, but it's not necessarily that you have to analyze it. It's just like information
Right.
being presented, but not necessarily that you have to like figure out a way to make it work because I think the real magic happens in the action. It's not like you can't think your way through. You
Right.
really can't like you can't just be a thought daughter and like expect everything to just like work out magically by not taking any action. So I think that's something too that will go into my next out, which is like a big out for 2026 is nervous system dysregulation.
100%. And the things that do not help benefit the nervous system.
What like this? Yeah.
Oh, what I was gonna say, before we got onto that topic too,
Mhm.
was that I did a tarot pull from like, okay, what is the energy kind of like of this episode? Guess what came out? The Ten of Wands,
Mhm.
and on the bottom, the
I
Magician.
was okay. You know what's so crazy
The
is that I was thinking
Magician.
about the numerology, and I was gonna actually bring that in into like the end. So I will save
Mhm.
most of it, but just like prefacing this with like 2026 is a 10 year, so it's like you have the one and the zero. So you have the
Mhm.
magician and you have the fool, and I'm just like been thinking about like the symbol of that, especially with like the one and the zero, and like what that means to me personally. And I will go more into that in the ends because it goes more with that. But it's
Okay.
funny because I was thinking about how like this morning I literally woke up. I'm like 2026 is a magician year. Like it's
Yeah.
literally that was one of the very
It's
first
like
thoughts.
I'm your spirit guide pulling the card and being like, here's the confirmation of the of that.
But like literally, I like woke up out of my bed like 2026 is a magician year.
Love
We
it.
need to use our power. That's so funny. But yeah, okay, we'll get more into that in the ends. But going back to nervous system dysregulation, I feel like I'm just like over it, you know? I think that because like I was reading back to a journal from 2022 when I was like very dysregulated, and that was also
Mhm.
like when I was slowly getting more regulated. And just like the stark contrast between then and now, and just realizing like, wow, I really have made such progress in regulating my nervous system and not just feeling like anxious and overburdened and like overworked all the freaking time. And I just want to like invite more of that energy in of just like more relaxation, more rest, more like luxury.
Mm.
um yeah, so like I'm gonna get a vibration plate and I'm really excited about that. So like that's like one thing that I'm gonna help. But another thing too is like I've since the new year has started, I've like maintained like a stretching in the morning and yoga. I mean,
Mm.
stretching in the morning slash yoga and then meditation in the morning, which has really like helped me so much with just like I think any residual anger that I feel, because I think that I am somebody who is
Yes.
very quick to anger. So just kind of like cooling that fire energy down.
Wait, you said
Yeah,
that you have been quick to anger?
yes, very much.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
that,
I've been left, yeah. I was
yeah,
feeling that.
which like leads me to my next out, which is out for 2026 is arguing. We're done with arguing, and I mean this at like every single level. I am somebody again, like I think I said this in a former episode of like how I deeply value conflict as a means of connection, but then also understanding there doesn't need to be conflict in the first place. I am somebody who like I am very have a very quick temper and I'm very quick to just jump into an argument. And I just don't want to welcome that energy anymore. I think
Mhm.
it's beautiful to be passionate about your feelings and to express that, but there's also a time and place. And I just want to make less space for conflict and just more space for connection.
Mm.
I literally mean at every single level, like romantically, friendship, family, and professional, because I am done with arguing with parents at my job. I'm over it. I'm not allowing it anymore. I'm literally just going to stop talking at that point. Like, I'm not with the back and forth this year.
You have Capricorn in your top three, right? Or Cap Venus? No, you're Aquarius, Gemini,
Sag moon.
and Sag. Okay.
It's the Sag moon. And then
Is
I'm a Capricorn Mercury and a Capricorn Venus. But it's like very much like the Sag placements, I think. Like the Sag moon. I'm very quick. Very, very quick.
Oh no, because I was gonna say with astrological transits going on, like I think it was cardinal placements and mutable placements that were feeling like different effects. Because I'm a Libra rising, and people pleasing is just like I'm nipping shit in the butt. So I've been like, ooh, that's like that side where it's like people don't really expect that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but going back to what you were saying.
Yeah. And I just want to say also, I think a good symbol for this that I'm like kind of like made me think about this. Well, I'll bring up two examples, but one was before I went on Christmas break, I had a parent who was literally arguing with me over something that was like just so ridiculous, like so ridiculous, you know? Like I already told him that there was no issue, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not getting into specifics because obviously I don't want to lose my job, but
Oh,
he
okay,
was
because
just
I was gonna be
arguing with
like,
me and like he was working himself up to the point where it's like I was like responding, but he wasn't even hearing me, you know, he was just looking for someone to
mhm.
argue. And then my coworker was literally just like, Miss Joe, you gotta just stop. He doesn't want to hear nothing right now. The very next day, he came in with flowers for me to apologize because he realized. So basically, the child told the mom how he was acting. The mom called the school to confirm. Then she was like, I'm gonna handle this. So then he came in with flowers to apologize because he knew he was in the wrong, and his wife yelled at him to say, hey, you're being like an asshole. You can't treat staff that way.
Right.
He came in, he was all apologetic, being like, I have to do better. I'm so sorry. And I feel like that was just such a good moment in the fact that it's like he not only apologized, but he brought me
Mhm.
a gift, a beautiful orchid, because he knew that he was in the wrong. And I thought, I just like saw that as such a symbol of like, okay, like, wow, like there really does not need to be any conflict. And like, obviously, it can lead to connection, but we can just nip the conflict in the bud and do better.
Right.
Another example I will say is that I like to argue, especially with my boyfriend. This year, just like when it starts like getting heated or I can feel myself kind of like just like working myself up, immediately like taking space, taking a deep breath and going to him and being like, okay, like what did I do wrong? Or like, what do you need to hear from me right now? Like the other day, he was like offended because I had said something to him that he took like disrespectfully. And I just explained like, because immediately I was like, I didn't mean that was disrespectfully, like, you can't blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I calmed down. I was like, I'm so sorry for making you feel disrespected. Like, that wasn't my goal at all. Like, I think that you may have taken it the wrong way, but basically just like stop nipping it in the bud, giving him a big hug, telling him that I loved him and doing all of that. So, like, valuing the connection over the conflict. So, like, that goes, like, with the arguing, like, no more arguing. Like, we can cut it out. We can literally, like, find a means of communicating that isn't based in conflict. And that is something that I'm really trying to, like, welcome in 2026.
That's really good, Joe. Like, I'm really happy for you. And also with like nervous system regulation, of course, we're going to feel irritable and angry sometimes, and we're going to feel triggered and lash out. But it really is about, pausing before the reaction. And it's easier said than done because
Yeah.
this last month, I have not been doing that. I've just been like so quick, and people are like, "Ooh," and I'm like, and I come back and I'm like, "Listen, I am very sorry for how I acted. I've just been feeling irritable and angry. Doesn't excuse the behavior. I'm gonna work on that."
Yeah.
Um, but that's good. I love these not resolutions, what are they called? We said ins and outs.
Yeah, but I feel like they are resolutions as well
Resolutions as well.
because it's like I just like things that I'm like kind of just like over and like want to just like push out, consciously push
Ooh,
out.
you said push out and you literally disappeared. Did you see that?
It's the magic, it's the magician in the air. But like definitely like I'm just like ready. I feel so
Mhm.
energized. I feel like there is such like a fire energy this year. Um,
What is
like really pushing the action.
what is your personal year this year? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Oh,
How do
okay.
I
Because
figure
I wanted to get into personal years. You add up your the day you were born, the month, and then the year, which is 2026.
Okay, wait, let me do that right now. So
Mhm.
plus two, plus three. You said, and I don't put the year that I was born.
No, not the year. So you do, yeah, the day, the month, and then
Six
the
and then
year of,
2026.
yeah, 2026, but all individually.
16.
16. So your
So
personal year, 7. I don't know. You might have to look that up because last year mine was a personal year 4. Mine was laying down all of these foundations and these frameworks. And for whatever reason, once December started to hit, I was like, I want to let everything go and just like explore and travel. And then I was looking at my personal year, it said number 5, and I was like wanted to just like rip off my wig and just go on a flight, go out on dates, and just like everything that I did, just do something completely new
Mm-hmm.
but in this way of like expansion and just like like stepping into that unknown
Mm-hmm.
of doing that.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. I definitely like, I've been in such a hermit mode these last few years. I've
Mhm.
been like, I'm ready to step out. And then last year I wasn't ready to step out. This year, I'm
This
ready.
year you're ready.
I'm ready to step out. I'm ready to shake my ass. I'm ready to just like get lit. Like I'm ready to just welcome more fun into my life. And I feel like
Mhm.
again that leads into my last out for 2026, which is being energetically cheap. I feel like this goes
Oh.
in like this ties into kind of pretty much anything, but being energetically cheap, I feel like not feeling like abundant or feeling like, for example, one of the reasons why I wasn't stepping out was because I was feeling insecure about how I looked, which is boo,
Mm.
boo. That's such a major boo because, like, why would that prevent me from having fun? And I think that what were you gonna
Wait,
say?
I'm confused. You said what made you not
Like
step
feeling a
out?
little bit insecure.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
feeling insecure in my appearance or feeling just like insecure, like who I am, like as a person or stuff,
Hmm.
not feeling like not feeling like I would like fit in, like all these just like I feel like very teenage mentality things kind of popped up this last year that kind of prevented me from like just like going out there and like trying new things or trying new experiences. And like that's energetic cheapness. That is very much like,
Mm.
oh, scarcity, like, oh my God, like I'm not pretty enough. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to go out and eat. It's like boo, because I do. I literally do. I got money in the bank. Like, I'm beautiful. I have a beautiful like partner who loves me and this amazing home that like fits my personality and loving animals. Like what? Why would I ever try to demean myself and put myself in a corner when I could just go out there and have fun?
Right.
So being energetically cheap,
That's a good
boo,
one.
it's
Yeah.
out. It is out for this year. We are only welcoming abundant energy.
Amen.
Yes. But that was like definitely like that's like my biggest one I feel because
Mhm.
I think that also goes like I think arguing is also part of like being energetically cheap because I think it's like one of the base level reactions like when it comes to communication versus like pausing the reaction and trying to like get deeper into like meaningful connection.
Mm.
And yeah, and again, it ties into like everything else because being energetically cheap, being on your phone, doom scrolling, that's energetically cheap.
I was thinking of like like when you say energetically cheap, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's like energy leaks, like energy leaks. I
Mm.
literally just said that. I don't know why I said that twice. Um,
Because it's important because that does make sense. I
and
think
that
that
was one of my outs. I was like, I'm not leaking like
yeah,
anything. No.
I can definitely feel that because I think that in the past, I feel like my energetic container is very porous. Let me not say is. I feel like it
Hmm.
used to be very, very porous. And I had a tendency of like picking up other people's like mannerisms or like behavior or even just like their opinions and stuff and passing it off as my own without
Right.
even realizing it until I like would be like, did I even think was that an original thought? No, it wasn't. That was just something that like I picked up and then like, passed off as my own. So that's something that again, like I think goes in with like the screen time issue of just like being more mindful of the way that you interact with social media to have it be a place of expansion and not just like a place of like mimicry.
And that's going to be honestly probably like, when we get into the ins alongside this topic, it's going to be one of the ins because as you were talking about like absorbing other people's energies and taking it, whether it's beliefs or systems thing as your own, and it's like creating those energetic boundaries and like surrounding yourself with people that I don't want to say that I guess you could say that mirror where you're going or that
Mm-hmm.
make you feel uplifted rather than drain and dim your light.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
I feel that for sure. Like
mhm.
100%. I think that again, I think this is just like such an expansion year, I believe. And
Right.
that goes into like your own connections, your own energy with yourself. Like this is just like a year I feel like of like conquest, and like conquest in like a good world in a good way of like exploration of refinement of like let me not say like laying a foundation, but just like being able to just like it's all coming in. You know what I mean? Like you're going out and it's all coming in.
It's like expansion, and I think authenticity. Like I know that we had an episode about this before, but that's going to be the driving factor. And when I say authenticity, I'm not talking about like, oh, you're trying to authentically connect with others, but it's more like you being so yourself and going after what it is that you want, that those things are going to align with you.
Being like a magnet, like
Yeah.
being a magnet, like attract likes, like attract
Mhm.
likes, and then what doesn't mirror is like just pushed away. And I think that's like in a divine alignment kind of way, and not in like some like buzzword kind of like
Mhm.
sense, just in a very much like you are spiritually protected, but like I don't know, like I'm trying not to like give myself the ick with like using these terms, but just in like you are
Yeah.
like spiritually protected in the fact that it's just like your own energy is going to attract what is like similar to you, and then like anything
Mhm.
that isn't will be pushed out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and also going back to being energetically cheap, I think another thing too is that like I want to just like make more room for like nourishing my friendships. I feel like this last year, again, like being in such ultra hermit mode, I really wasn't like honoring my friendships in the way that I really wanted to. And then this year, I really want to focus more on honoring those. So like I love to do like little DIY like cards. I've been doing like birthday oracles, which I thought were like super, super cute. And I've gotten like really good like little I've gotten like cute little like feedback from my friends being like, oh, that's like this is so nice. And like I just want to like make more space for like being like bringing like care and attention into like my personal relationships.
Mhm. That's a good one as well.
So let's go into the ends, but let's go like one at a time versus like don't state all of yours. Like let's
Oh,
pick
okay.
one of yours and then we can unpack it.
Okay. Let me pull this up. Like I said, December was a very interesting month for me, so I wonder if I wasn't like almost experiencing what I was in December would influence like what the ends would be now. But first one is going to be reciprocal relationships and boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one, I think, for me. But it was more so I'm more protective of my boundaries and what I'm allowing into my life versus what I'm not allowing into my life. But reciprocal relationships are in for
Yeah,
2026. That
you
was my
like
point.
that. Reciprocal relationships are in. I feel like that kind of leads into one of my ends for 2026, which is worshiping myself or like worshiping yourself. I think that ties in reciprocal relationships because it's like you are valuing yourself above kind of like what you're put above the other people that you're placing above yourself. You know, it's like you are
Mhm.
allowing yourself to be your priority and not in like an individual egoist kind of like sense of way, but just in a way of like honoring who you are and allowing that to be like your own guiding star and how like you want to be treated, how you want other people to treat you.
Mhm.
And the way that I was thinking about this is that I want to worship myself in so for example, I want to just like worship myself in the way that I take care of myself. So
Mhm.
sorry, my dog is like scratching at the door, so you might hear her. So in the way that like I got my eyebrows laminated, I've been giving myself like lash tints. I'm gonna get my nails done for my birthday. I bought myself this beautiful designer bag that I've been coveting like the last few years, and I actually like bit the bullet and got it for myself. Also in the way of like valuing like my hobbies and my creative interests in I don't know, like just like allowing myself like if I were let me give me 1 second. Let me let her in because she's gonna be rude. And continue. That's being so rude. Oh my gosh. Sorry. It's my gremlin. Do you want to say
Is
hi?
it Rosie?
It is. Come here.
Yeah, let me see Rosie. Miss Rosie. She's
She literally looks like manic.
she literally went,
I know. She's actually crazy. She's not a dog. She's a gremlin. But yeah, like worshiping myself. I really want to like. I think this ties into like how like being energetically cheap. Like I was like, oh, like I can't afford to get like my nails done. Oh, I can't like afford to do this and that. It's like yes, you can. Like I just feel like I was being so cheap and trying to be like frugal and save money. Which yes, obviously prioritize like your savings and like all that kind of stuff, but also like allow room for like luxury. And I think that ties into like worshiping myself. I'm gonna allow myself to just be like this vessel of like creation, like the same way that you would,
Mhm.
you know, if you're into like oh my gosh, if you're into like God like adoration, like say if you have like a specific deity that you like deity worship, like you know
Mhm.
like honor your deity, like you offer them like gifts and like you offer like you do offerings and you like pray to them, like kind of like in the same way of like that same method of like okay, if I were you know worshiping myself, what would I do? And then I'm thinking about like how I can do that. So worshiping yourself above all, that's what I'm like really like trying to like allow more in 2026.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Hey, wait. So an in, so kind of similar to that topic is embodied living and rituals.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
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 Because I definitely feel like that's yeah, I'm gonna go more like continue your thought because I want to go more into it after.
So embodied living and rituals, I was just thinking about things that like in 2025 that I started picking up, not started picking up, but that I was doing. And then when I started like having that burnout, like I completely stopped doing it. So when I say embodied living, I'm talking about doing things that make you feel good. Like for me, it's always somatic dance and somatic movement. And when I fall off on that and then I pick it back up again, I'm like, damn, I really forgot how good this made me feel. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And doing the things that make you feel good, that make you feel alive, and that also allow your nervous system to feel nourished. Um, so once again, like choosing the things or doing the things that make your nervous system also feel safe. Um, and I think also rituals is very important to keep you grounded and anchored in the moment because, and it doesn't, when I say rituals, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to pray to someone or something. You can also just be grounded in your presence. Um, but just finding things that work for you. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and that make you, like I said, make you feel grounded, whether they're morning, evening, or afternoon rituals. I try and have a nightly and morning rituals,
Hmm.
not too much afternoon though.
Yeah. I feel that goes into one of my ends, which was for 2026 is prioritizing my hobbies.
Mm,
That's part of a larger thesis, I will say, of choosing pleasure at any available moment.
yes.
So I feel like, because I'm a very big ritual person, but I got to a place where it was just no longer felt like rituals. Like it no longer felt like devotion. It felt more like just like of like discipline.
Routine.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Hmm.
routine and like just like not being able to fully connect with the act for what it is.
I
Um,
was, oh,
so I don't know what you're saying.
I was going to say, I remember in the class that I was taking, I remember telling them as soon as a ritual starts to feel like a routine, pivot. I mean, routines are good, but
Hmm.
rituals are supposed to, whatever it is, and like I said, it doesn't have to be something where you're praying or doing something, but it's about inviting that pleasure and that safety, bringing you back to your body and whatever like that means. But as soon as it starts to feel like a disciplinary act or like
Yeah.
a routine, that's not a ritual anymore, as you were saying.
Yeah.
So,
And I am trying to like break that habit because I am very much a routine driven person. So
mm,
I think it was very hard for me to like let that go and to pivot away because I'm just like, oh, but now I'm like just like not marking my progress and but I need to do this, and like almost like compulsively, like I need to be in a routine. So I did kind of like abandon all my rituals for a little bit, but I think it was necessary because I needed to pivot away and like just find something else that was like to build a routine around so that I could come back to my rituals like, fully embodied, as you would say. So that
mm,
is definitely something I feel like I've really have developed such like a love for like pole dancing and now for like the gym as well. And like obviously for writing, but that's always been my thing. But like prioritizing the things that bring me pleasure and having that be a way of like bringing pleasure into every available moment. Like I don't want to be like, because I am somebody I'm very like, I believe in delayed gratification. I'm very much like, okay, I'm gonna like get all this work done first and then enjoy this. But then when you're doing that, you're not allowing the pleasure to welcome in. Like choose the pleasure, still do the work. I think that's like what I'm trying to find more of a balance with.
mm. Wait, are we talking about procrastination
Not
or
procrastination.
okay,
I don't like I'm not a big procrastinator, I don't
okay.
think. I'm just somebody who tends to choose work over pleasure. Very
Ah,
much so. So I am trying to like that larger thesis of like choosing pleasure at any available
mm,
moment versus choosing work. So that is something that I am trying to like just switch around. Like for example, like now that I'm getting back in school, like before I used to be like, okay, like I'm gonna get like all this like these assignments and work done first before I go like practice pole. And now it's like, well, I can go practice pole for like 15 minutes or something and then I can go
mm,
start my work. It doesn't have to be like these big changes, but allowing just introducing pleasure into like the moment, even if it's just like a small little act.
mm, yeah.
Okay, so next in for 2026 is allowing yourself to be in progress. I feel like, again, I'm very much somebody who wants to be fully put together, have everything down pat before allowing myself to be seen. And then just kind of like 2026, we're throwing that away. Allow yourself to be in progress because I think that's where you meet, like you make the real community and allowing yourself to just to be seen, especially like as an artist.
Mm,
Um, like I think one way, again, personal anecdote, is like posting little like progress in poll and just like posting that on like my story on Instagram. Where before I was like so afraid to be seen because I'm like, what if my body doesn't look like that? Or like, oh, I should like clean this up more. Or like I need to like, get more of like the physique or like the whatever, all that kind of stuff. No, boo, we don't need that. We need more like showing up and like being in progress. I think also, being a writer like I submitted a poem and it's going to be published in a literary magazine at my school, and I was like so afraid of like submitting in the first place because I'm like, what if this isn't good enough or things like that, and just like allowing yourself, like even though I am still a student, like I don't know, like allowing yourself to be in progress, but still to be proud of like what the progress that you're making, appreciating the journey, allowing yourself to be seen like right here in the middle versus the finish line.
right. And it's honestly so easy sometimes to get into your own head about how you're the one who's being perceived, when in reality, when other people see the work that you put out there or any other artist puts out there, when they like resonate it and connect with it. Because didn't it get, did you want to bring that up how it got chosen?
What, like my
Your
poem?
writing piece, yeah.
Well, like yeah, like I submitted to it and then it's like I got chosen as like with my work. But I think that I just like have it in my head. I'm like, I'm still a student. I'm such a novice. Like I don't know,
Mhm.
like this and that. And it's like again, like thinking back to like the magician. This is a magician year, guys. This is literally
Right.
a year. Like, allow yourself to just like to appreciate your own magic and allow other people to appreciate that as well. I think that I'm very like much like I want again, like I'm stepping out, like I'm exiting
Mhm.
hermit mode and allowing myself to be seen and allowing myself to be seen exactly where I am versus like trying to like put on a front that I'm like just like so suave and professional. And it's like, no, like I'm still learning and allowing myself to be in that way. Also, I just finished this really beautiful book called Writers and Lovers by Lily King, which I feel like is such a testament to this idea of like being in progress. If anybody, it's such a beautiful story. I think especially if you are a writer, it speaks on this. And like this person took 6 years to like write her novel, and like there's a whole bunch of like downs, and then everything like worked out in the end. I think it was just a beautiful story. So if anybody want to check out Writers and Lovers by Lily King, I highly recommend.
Is it also an audiobook as well?
I think it could be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's such a good book. Like genuinely, like I like finished that in a few days, and I was like, this was such a good read. Like I'm so excited that I was gifted that for Christmas.
I was gonna say, I'm also really proud of like the progress that we've made, though this is a side tangent, like with the podcast, because at first we felt like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we needed to have everything kind of together.
Yeah.
But a lot of throughout life is it is really through our experiences in which we learn. Like every person who's a leader or who, let's say, if you care to be an owner of a business company, it's or like of a company. It's more so you learn through your experiences. It's never going to be perfect right from the get-go.
Mhm.
And a lot of people try to reach for that perfectionism from the get-go.
Mhm.
And I think within like being like an artist or within the community, when you're interacting with other people and helping others, you feel that you need to have this front of, like you said, being put it keeping everything together. But it's about allowing yourself to be seen
Mhm.
because we are human.
Yeah. And I
So,
think it's such like it is a vulnerable act. I think like,
mhm.
I mean, I think being an artist in itself is an act of vulnerability, but allowing yourself to be an artist and to be in progress is such like an act of vulnerability.
Yes.
And I think that I'm just like, I really want to see more of like what I can do with that. You know, I think that
Mhm.
I've been more in like again, like I've been in hermit mode, I've been more in a shell, and I'm excited to see what beauty I can create by just like cracking that open a little bit more.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that. Well, before I get into my next in, the ins that you were kind of talking about with like the creative self-expression and allowing yourself to be seen in that way, I was that was my probably in for 2025, like sharing more of my music and my writing and not really caring what other people thought because at the end of the day, it is my experience and the people that feel it and see it are going to resonate with it. And it's really more so about, once again, as I talked about embodied living, but allowing myself to um, just put it out there without feeling like I need to hold back this side of me.
Hmm.
And so very, very important as an artist, or even if people aren't artists and doing
Hmm.
that as well. My in for 2026 was taking the leap of faith. So like listening and following your heart's desires, because sometimes I have this like intuitive aspect, but also this very logical aspect. And so sometimes when I feel like, okay, I don't resonate with something anymore, I keep trying to make something work. I'm like, how can I go through this list of like checking off all of these things to like make sure in my head to be like, okay, I'm completely done with this, instead of really just taking that leap of faith. And going back to my personal year of a personal 5 year, the foundations that I laid down in 2024 with the coaching and the business, which I still plan on finishing up some of those things.
Hmm.
It's more like the LLC and things like that. But like this year, I feel like I'm 27. I want to just go out, do international travel, explore, things like that. And if people question it, they question it because they don't need to understand what it is that I'm feeling called to do intuitively. And when you
Hmm.
follow those intuitive nudges and pulls, you that's where sometimes your opportunities lie and expand as well.
Mhm.
I can't explain it, but that's just what I feel. And it's like, that's what I'm itching for.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
that does make sense. I feel like that kind of like ties into my next in for 2026, which is celebrating more.
Mm.
Celebrating more, celebrating more. I really want, again, I feel like this goes into just like worshiping yourself, but like just like celebrating like every little thing. Um, I want to like celebrate more of like, especially my relationship. Like we're about to make 4 years like next week, and being
Oh,
able
Jody.
to, I know, Jody squared.
G squared, yeah.
So like being able to like really take the time to like honor and celebrate that, celebrating my 28th birthday
Mhm.
and celebrating the like this is a year of celebration for me. Like I'm turning
Yeah.
28, 4-year relationship, I graduate college. So these are like some big milestones I feel like in my life that I'm like and entering, but I want to really make sure that I take the time to celebrate that. And like not just the big things, but the small things too. Like I want to celebrate when I like make like learn a new skill and pole. Like yesterday I got my jade split, guys.
Wait,
Got my
can
jade
we like
split.
insert a clip?
But I
Okay.
got my jade split yesterday. Um, being able to celebrate, like, for example, like having like a really good day at work, like just being taking the time to like maybe eat like a cookie or something, just being like, ah, thank you for this good ass day. I
Mm.
really want to just like again, this is a year I think of like cultivating abundance for myself, and I really want to take the time to like honor all the little stuff
Mm.
and the big stuff, but
Yeah,
especially too.
that was good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the I can't remember my point. If it comes back to me, I will go back to that. Are we doing our next in though?
Yes, next in.
Okay, next in. Um, doing the things that you loved as a kid, but like really bringing it back.
Wait, repeat that. You
Oh,
said
doing the things that you loved as a kid and but like bringing it back full fold.
mhm,
Um, So for me, and it kind of ties in with like the like taking that leap of faith and going back to exploring and then traveling. But I was leading last year with so much of that, like the foundation and the logic. And this year I was like thinking to myself, I've been reconnecting with the things more so than I was before that
mhm.
I was like connecting with when I was a kid, like going back to music. I got a saxophone for Christmas. My mom and my I will literally insert a clip of like me playing like the Pink Panther, the
So
first phrase of it. Okay, day one of Pink Panther. But I was just like thinking to myself, wow, I really just wanted this and I got it. Like I wasn't even expecting it though.
yeah.
So
But it's like funny also, just I know Desi has never played the saxophone before. She just wanted to
mm,
get a saxophone to play. So I think that's such a good testament to like just like the childlike joy and like just curiosity of like, let me just like freaking try this.
yeah, like I'm not gonna deprive myself of like what my inner child wants.
Like
Like
I just want to try to play the saxophone.
I want to try to play the saxophone.
Mhm.
And well, really quick, I was saying to my sister, oh, we can just like get this off of a Facebook Marketplace for like $50. She's like, Desi, I'm not gonna get you that. Like, so I was like, okay, fine. Lo and behold, I look under the Christmas tree, open up my gift, and I was like, no way. And I was like, thanks, guys. Like, this is perfect. But really just leading like with a childlike curiosity once again, and leading from a place of love and not fear. Um, and because we either act out of love or fear.
Mhm.
And through the book Conversations with God that I mentioned to you by Neil Donald Walsh, and then A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Those are two books that you can listen to or read. But yeah, leading like with that childlike curiosity
Mhm.
and doing the things that you loved as a kid, I feel like opens up also new doorways, at least for me.
Mhm.
It can differ for other people, but
I
yeah.
feel that that ties in with your year, like a year 5, because isn't Leo like the fifth? The fifth,
In
yeah,
astrology, like the fifth house is ruled by Leo. And
yeah,
my moon is in the fifth house.
yeah, and like
In
isn't Leo like
Pisces.
about being like the child, about being like, yeah, I think that that energetically aligns with your year for sure.
Okay. And I've been hanging out with a lot more, well, not hanging out. I've been like working with kids more this
Mhm,
year too. So I'm like just feeling really just reconnected with my inner child and like, wow, you can just connect with them.
mhm. That's good. I like that. That's a good one. Okay, so this is my last out, and I mean, my last out. This is my last in, and I was saving it for last because I think that it's like the most important. So my last in for 2026 is using the tools at our disposal. And this is going to be like my mantra for this year, using the tools at our disposal, using the tools at our disposal. I feel like let me not say we, I feel like I overcomplicate things and just like try to like reach for stuff that isn't there in terms of like solving any types of problems. So for example, I was like, oh, like at the end of 2025, I'm like, oh, I want to be like more creative. Like I'm not doing I'm not being creative anymore, blah, 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 and all this kind of bullshit. And it's just like, well,
Mhm.
what do you have right now? I'm like, okay, like I used to be really into photography. Why don't I get up off my ass and go on a little photography shoot? Like I can literally take a photography walk and I can take a photography walk, all those words like blended together and just like start shooting. I can like get dressed up with my boyfriend in like really like cute, really outfit. Oh my gosh, in really cute outfits and then have like a little like, like low key photo shoot. Like I have all these collaging and like craft stuff. I can just like make a poem collage in like one of my many journals that I have. I can go outside to the park and just like write a poem or something. Like I think I was like overcomplicating it and just being like, oh, I need to set like an hour of my time on this date to do this. And it's like I don't like I can literally just make it like so low key. And I
Mhm.
think another thing too is like I was feeling very like let me not say anxious, but I was feeling like very angry. I was feeling like lots of like I wouldn't say anxiety, but just having like thought clutter, like I feel like my
Yeah.
get very cluttered with just like I'll have like a song repeating in my head like over and over and over and like it won't go away or I'm like repeating a conversation or something. And like one thing that I can do to mitigate that is meditating more, literally
Mhm.
stilling the mind, making room for these things that like using the tools that I have currently to make improvements in my life versus like trying to overcomplicate it and stuff. And I think this really ties in with the fact that this year is a 10 year, this is like a magician year. Like use what you have, pick up your fucking wand, and like make some magic happen.
That's a really good point. And I think a lot of us, like you said, it's easy to overcomplicate things or even add on new things to our plate or learn new
Mm-hmm.
things when in reality we do have the tools at our disposal. Not everybody does, but when we do, it's like really taking that step back and being able to assess like, okay, what can I do to make myself like feel X, Y, and Z, feel
Mm-hmm.
better to whether it's like calm down or incorporate this pleasure or play into my life. Um, and it's easy to not brush it aside, but not think of that when there is so much clutter and fog in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a
And,
really good point. I really like that one.
and I think like also when it comes to just like let me not say like therapy, but like being able to do kind of like the work ourselves. Like the way that I'm thinking of it too is like, okay, say for example, you're like, oh, like I need to go to therapy or like, oh, I need to like make changes in my life. Okay, so what can you do with what you have already? Okay, you
Hmm.
have a journal, write down your feelings daily. It doesn't have to be like a very long page entry, but just keep a track of your emotions daily and see how that improves and you can start tracking your emotions. Maybe it's like you start getting really angry around your period. Maybe it's just like every full moon you're feeling a little bit more zesty or something and like it can also I don't know like I'm really trying to like I want to simplify my experience and like trying to make use of what I have already and I think especially in this like culture of like overconsumption of like wanting
Hmm.
everything new, what do you have already at home? You're like, oh, like my skin is like looking really crazy right now, I wish I could go buy like that $50 face mask. Okay, go get an avocado, mash it up with some honey and go make a face mask yourself. Like I just
DIY face mask.
but that's the thing, like my
Yeah.
lips were getting like so dry this winter and everything, and I was like looking online, I'm like, what's the best like chapsticks and like lip salves, all this ointment. And I was like, why am I overcomplicating this? I made a freaking like lip scrub at home with brown sugar and olive oil, clear that shit right up. No
Yeah.
more dry skin, no more ashy lips over here. So it's just like, what can you do with what you already have? And I feel like, again, this is such magician energy. This is such like 2026 energy. It's like, make the magic happen with what you have. You don't need anything else. You already have
Mhm.
all the tools at your disposal. So use them. Take the action and use them.
Should we end the episode by saying some of our tools that we use when we're feeling kind of like a little flat or blah?
For
Just
sure. Yeah.
when, okay.
Do
Okay,
you want to go?
okay.
Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Um, So if I'm feeling flat or blah, like I need to move my body or do something. So sometimes if I'm in that like dissociative state, it's easy for me to go on my phone and just start opening up and doom scrolling. But when I have that awareness and be like, okay, I don't want to do this, I'm either going to put on my headphones and put on like my early 2000s music and really just like get it all out, that primal dance and movement. Or journaling. But when I say journaling, it's not like just saying, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. It's literally writing down how I'm feeling. Because I think so much when we're journaling too, it's easy to become logical about it rather than writing down how we're feeling. Does that make sense? Like, it's almost like compartmentalizing those feelings. Or I'll go and play tennis. But those are like movement, brain dump, movement or brain dump or
Mhm.
self-expression through writing music.
Mhm. I think the first one for me is definitely journaling. One of my New Year's resolutions was to journal every single day. And I've been
Mhm.
pretty good so far. And I think that's really helped with just like being able to get more in touch with my own inner voice. I think, again, I am somebody, like you said, I can, like put the logical to the forefront versus I allow myself to feel the emotional stuff. So, like, have
Mhm.
a conduit in which I can connect those two in a way that feels very, true to who I am. And it's just like also nice to like have a little recap of my day. Like I was like writing about because I did poll 4 times this week. So like being able to go back on my entries and being like, oh yeah, like my poll class today, I did this or like this and like that. And just being able to track your progress in that way. Number two for me is stretching. Oh my gosh, guys, please move your body. I think that for me, that's like I think it can be really hard to like get up and move when you're feeling so stagnant. But once you start moving, you don't want to stop because it just feels so good, especially to release. Like for me, especially it's like my hips and like my upper back. So something that I've been doing a lot of is shoulder flossing. Also push-ups. That was like one of my New Year's resolutions is to do push-ups every single day. And if you think about it, guys, push-ups are a heart opener because you're gonna work out your chest, you're working out your biceps, you're working out your back, you're working out your core, but you're gonna feel all this like energy open up in your chest. And that's a heart opening exercise. And it makes you feel so good afterwards. And also you're gonna start looking freaking swole in no amount of time.
You're gonna be
So
entering the bodybuilding competition next.
not
Whole
bodybuilding, but
competition, then
I just
bodybuilding
want to be like a little
competition.
like slim thick bitty, like I want to have like a big juicy booty and a little tiny waist. And then that was like two. So number one was journaling, number two was stretching, and then number three, I would think be like talking about it with my boyfriend. I feel like that's just like therapy. I'm just like being able to be like, God, bro, this shit happened today at work, and I can't fucking believe it. And like just being able to kind of like get it out there and just be like, oh, okay, I'm done. All right, now I can just like move on past it. Because sometimes you just need to
Mhm.
talk about it. And like, but I want to like, one of the
It's
things is that like I'm
legitimate.
trying to censor what I put in my journal, and that like I don't want to just like not like censored in a bad way, but just like the experiences that don't need to be put down don't get put down. Because I think I used to be a very compulsive journaler in which I would put down every single detail that happened in my day, and it would be 12-page entries. And then
Mhm.
now I'm like kind of like doing like my little highlights and stuff. And while I'm still processing any feelings or negative emotions, definitely in here. But
Right.
like for example, like that argument, like having like an argument with a parent at my job, I'm not gonna put that in my journal. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to I don't want to make space for that negative energy and allow it to continue to fester on the page versus being
Mhm.
able to talk it to my boyfriend, getting over it immediately and like just letting it.
Mm. Yes. I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So those are my tea. That's my top three.
Okay. Well, that was our
Oh, my tea
2026
26.
ins and
Ins
outs.
and
And you have to
outs.
figure out, oh, you already figured out your personal year. So it's a
Yeah,
7.
it's a seven, and that definitely feels right in the sense I feel like this is a perfection year for me. A seven
Okay.
is for perfection. So I think I'm graduating. I'm turning 28 and about to enter like my slow return, my Saturn
The
return
School
time.
of Rock.
Yeah. Bro, that's actually such a good fucking movie with Jack
It
Black.
is.
I haven't watched it in a while. I have to rewatch it.
Yeah. Love Jack Black. He's so funny. All right, so yeah, that concludes 2026 ins and outs. Until next time, we will see you guys. And thank you for
Mwah.
listening.
Have a beautiful year. Use the tools at your disposal.
Mic drop.